On a quiet corner in the heart of Granville, Virginia, a dignified black woman walked home with unshaken grace. Her emerald pendant shimmered in the honeyed sunlight, swaying just slightly with her deliberate, elegant stride. Each step was purposeful, measured not just in distance, but in history. The necklace wasn't simply an accessory, it was legacy, a gift from her late husband, a symbol of love, perseverance, and the battles they had overcome together. Dr. Nadine Ellison had just concluded a keynote address at the Granville Civic Auditorium. The topic, cybersecurity ethics and public trust. Her name badge still peeked from the side of her satchel, reading Dr. Nadine Ellison, Chief Systems Architect. Her mind lingered on the applause, the questions from young attendees, the moments when knowledge shared became community built. The air smelled of late summer fresh cut lawns mingled with hints of charcoal from a food truck on Walton Street. Red, white, and blue bunting fluttered gently across storefronts in the breeze. Nadine's heels echoed with soft rhythm against the sidewalk, her cream blouse tucked neatly into her tailored navy slacks, a silver chain resting against her chest with that singular bold emerald pendant. As she turned onto Booker Avenue, she passed the local police precinct. Several patrol vehicles idled outside. Leaning against one of them was Officer Brent Dalton. His frame was thick-set, his posture aggressive by default. At 49, his face was weathered, not by kindness or compassion, but by years of unchallenged authority. His pale eyes locked onto Nadine with narrowed scrutiny. He didn't recognize her. That didn't matter to him. What he saw was a woman with too much pride for her place. He noticed the necklace first, then her posture upright, assured, unbothered. She didn't avert her gaze. She didn't smile. She didn't acknowledge him at all. And that, more than anything, got under his skin. "Hey, you," he barked. Nadine paused. A silent flicker passed across her spine, not of fear, but of knowing. The weight of generations pressed inward. "Yes, officer." Her voice was even, her tone neutral, but her awareness sharpened. Dalton took a step forward, eyeing the pendant. "That chain? Where'd you get it?" "It's mine," Nadine said, calm but firm. "A gift from my husband." He circled her slowly, not as a protector of the peace, but as a predator smelling blood in the water. "That a pretty fancy rock," he sneered. "You sure it's yours?" "Yes, I'm very sure," Nadine replied, not flinching. "Is there a reason you're asking me that?" He planted his feet wider, hands on hips. "You match a description," he said. "Dark-skinned woman, expensive necklace, seen near a boutique earlier today. Some items went missing." "There's no way that's true," Nadine replied, voice tightening. "I just spoke at the Civic Auditorium. I've done nothing wrong." "People like you always have a story," Dalton muttered, his voice growing louder, exaggerated for the benefit of the few pedestrians nearby. "Always ready to make it political." "People like me?" Nadine asked, her voice like silk stretched over steel. "You assume I don't belong? You act like you own the place. I've earned where I stand." Dalton's lips curled. "You'll be afraid. In a minute." She stepped back slightly. "You're abusing your authority. I don't consent to a search or detention without probable cause." "You're on my street," he snapped, stepping closer, his breath hot with disdain. "If I say you're suspicious, that's enough." "No, it's not," she said. "And I'll speak to someone who actually knows the law." That's when Dalton's mask slipped completely. "Hands up now," he shouted, reaching for his cuffs. "Don't make me repeat myself." Nadine lifted her arm slowly, heartbreak simmering beneath composure. "This will haunt your career," she said as he twisted her wrist cruelly behind her back. "You're humiliating yourself, and you'll answer for it." Dalton smirked. "Get used to the view from the back seat," he said. "Fits your kind just fine." She sat silently in the back of the cruiser, her face impassive, but inside, her pulse beat with purpose. She reached carefully into her pocket and pressed the emergency alert button on her phone. It connected instantly, transmitting audio to her designated emergency contact. 10 blocks away, Chief Elias Ellison was exiting Granville's municipal building after a lengthy City Safety Commission meeting. His phone buzzed. When he saw the caller ID, his breath hitched. He answered and froze. He heard his mother's voice, steady and composed. Then came Dalton's voice, loud, condescending, unaware he was being recorded. Elias moved. He didn't hesitate, didn't explain. He was in his vehicle and speeding toward the precinct within seconds. At the station, Dalton yanked Nadine from the squad car, parading her into the precinct like a trophy. Inside, Officer Julian Cortez, barely a year out of the academy, glanced up from the front desk. "Suspect," Dalton said with smug satisfaction. "Stolen necklace. No receipt." "Got mouthy. What's the actual charge?" Cortez asked, his brow furrowing. Dalton waved it off. "Suspicion of theft." Attitude. Thought her degree made her untouchable. In a holding cell, Nadine sat with her back straight, wrists reddened. She said nothing, but her presence filled the room. She could feel her son coming. Moments later, the front doors slammed open. Elias walked in, not fast, not loud, but with presence. Stillness followed him like an aura. Conversation halted. Movement stopped midair. Eyes followed his every step. Dalton didn't notice until Elias was just feet away. "Captain," Dalton stammered, suddenly too casual. "I wasn't planning to stop in," Elias said coolly. "But I received a live audio feed of a woman being unlawfully detained." He paused. "My mother." The words echoed. Silence thickened. Dalton's face turned chalk white. "Sir, you didn't know she didn't say?" "You didn't ask," Elias snapped. "You profiled her. You fabricated a crime. You lied." "She matched a description," Dalton began. "There was no report." Elias thundered. "No theft, no suspects, no boutique incident. I checked dispatch myself. She got confrontational. She asserted her rights." Elias shot back. "That's not confrontation. That's citizenship." Nadine remained silent in the cell, watching, listening, measuring. Elias turned back to Dalton. "You didn't need to know who she was to treat her with respect. But now you've made it personal. So let me be clear, you're suspended. Effective immediately. Badge, gun, locker, and you will report to Linton County for 6 months of mandated bias re-education. You'll listen. You'll learn. You'll rebuild if we let you." Dalton's shoulders sagged. "Captain, I didn't mean." "You meant power," Elias replied coldly. "You thought dignity was a threat." The cell door creaked open. Nadine stepped out. Her poise hadn't wavered. "You tried to strip me of my dignity, Officer Dalton," she said. "But all you did was expose your ignorance. I don't want your job. I want your awareness." Elias turned to her. "Are you sure?" "Yes," she said. "Growth is only possible if we let people change." Dalton removed his badge, his hands trembling. In the weeks that followed, he showed up to every class. He sat in circles with strangers, listened to stories of fear and loss, faced the faces of people who had every reason to hate him. He wrote letters he never sent. He volunteered at local high schools, distributing guides titled "Know Your Rights." Most students ignored him. Some glared. A few mothers stopped just long enough to say things like, "You scared my son once." He'd nod. "I remember," he'd say. "I'm sorry." He no longer wore a uniform. Just a plain blue polo and a name tag that read Travis Community Liaison. No badge. No siderum. Just stories and silence. Spring came. Granville hosted a banquet to celebrate its reform efforts. Elias and Nadine entered together. He wore dark navy. She wore emerald green, the same color as the necklace that had started it all. Travis stood near the back, unsure if he even belonged in the room, until Elias nodded. Then Nadine approached. "I've heard about your work," she said. "Good things." "I'm trying," he said, voice barely audible. "Trying isn't redemption," she replied, "but it's a start. You took something from me that day, but you built something new since then." He nodded, eyes wet. Later, Elias stepped to the podium. The room quieted. Forks froze. Glasses lowered. "We are not defined by our worst moments," he said, "but we are responsible for them. Justice isn't just about punishment, it's about courage. Courage to admit when we were wrong. Courage to rebuild. Courage to do better, not for recognition, but because it's right." He looked toward Travis, not with scorn, but with gravity. Sometimes justice doesn't punish, it transforms. The room erupted into applause, a wave of sound that washed over everyone like redemption. Travis didn't smile. He didn't clap. He stood still, hands folded, head slightly bowed. Not in shame, in reverence. Because he understood, the applause wasn't for him. It was for the woman he once silenced, for the voices he'd ignored, and for the future he now served. The next morning, the air over Granville smelled of rain and promise. The precinct returned to its usual rhythm, but something had shifted. A new plaque was installed by the front desk. Polished steel, names etched into permanence. Travis never read the names. He looked at the blank space below them, and wondered not whether his name would be there, but whether he'd ever do enough to deserve it. So he kept showing up, quietly, listening more, speaking less, asking before assuming. And with every step through the precinct doors, he reminded himself, a badge means nothing if it's not worn with humility. Justice doesn't end with an arrest. It begins with the truth.